Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. All right, we're gonna do another office fragrance video. We're gonna call this Kings of the Office, slight emphasis on summer. So summer edition Office Kings. Got 8 fragrances here that while they're not maybe the best summer fragrances, I think there's just an emphasis on the summer season while working at the office. A little disclaimer, this is going to be based for guys who work indoors. I did base this off of an indoor office environment or work environment list. Granted, that still can vary, but it's pretty much going to be based off stuff I might wear. I kind of have to use my own experience because everybody's work environment can be a little bit different, so you kind of have to adjust it based off of that. But that is neither here nor there. Still can be a good office list, I think. So we got 8 of them once again, like I said. But before we get started, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, let's start off with a classic from the house of Amouage. It's Reflection Man. Amouage Reflection Man. This one will always be a great office scent. Granted, you can use it for other things, but it's kind of hard to leave it off of an office scent unless I've done an office video recently and had it on there. And also good for the warm weather as well. You've got mostly florals in this, kind of hinting at neroli, a little bit of herbaceousness by way of like notes like rosemary and things like that. I believe there's also some orange blossom and some petitgrain in this. There's a little bit of a fresh spiciness, just a hint. Creamy sandalwood making up the base, a little bit of sweetness to go along with it. It is simply undeniably a classy gentleman's fragrance. This is definitely a good one if you work in an office environment where you may be a little bit more dressed up. Definitely I'm the boss vibes with this fragrance in my opinion. Once again, from the house of Amouage, this is Reflection Man. Next up, coming from the house of Arabian Oud, this is Majestic. Arabian Oud Majestic. All right, so with this one here, kind of centered around the note of Divana, best I can tell, at least that's what the line is centered around. Think slightly fruity, a little bit balsamic, maybe a woodsy undertone. There's also some bergamot and wild rose lending to the brightness of this fragrance, the fresh aspect of it. At the base, you can say sandalwood, maybe a little bit of oud just to, give it a little bit more depth, give it that kind of Middle Eastern feel to it. It does have quite a bit of sweetness to it, but it's not like the cloyingly sticky sweet type. It just leans more sweet than anything, but has a brightness to it, which I think makes it a good summertime choice for the office. Particularly if you're indoors, this one wouldn't necessarily be too much. This one in particular, also just leaning a little bit different from maybe your typical suggested office fragrance. Once again, from the house of Arabian Oud, this is Majestic. Next one's coming from the house of Bond number 9. This is Lafayette Street. Bond number 9, Lafayette Street. So this one here is a good office choice if you're looking to be a people pleaser in terms of your scent choice in the office. So this one has quite a bit of freshness with it, apple, bergamot. There's a really heavy floral base to it. So, it kind of makes you think springtime a little bit more, but it could certainly work in the office for the summertime. A lot of vanilla and tonka bean and a pretty strong base of ambroxan in this fragrance. You're going to smell fresh, but also good amount of sweetness, and definitely has that people pleasing way about it. So this could just be a really nice office choice. This one can push off the skin a little bit in my opinion, so I don't think it's one you want to go heavy on the sprays with, and that's what would make it a good office scent if you don't overspray it. Once again, from the house of Bond number 9, this is Lafayette Street. Next one's coming from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn. This is Aqua Cologne Forte. Mason Francis Kirkjohn, Aqua Cologne Forte. All right, so this one definitely a warm weather themed fragrance. Bergamot giving way to a bit of a lime-like vibe, mixing with some fennel, giving it more of a green edge. Lots of matcha tea note in this, or accord. I'm assuming that would be an accord, obviously. And at the base, you got a nice amount of musk. This fragrance smells amazing, definitely summertime themed, has that calming tea element to it. It's just pleasant and definitely can work as an office scent. Once again, from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn, this is Aqua Cologne Forte. Next up, coming from the house of Louis Vuitton, it's LV Lovers. Louis Vuitton LV Lovers. So this one here is going to take a little bit more of a woody approach, but it has enough of a freshness and a lightness to it. Still can work as a summertime office scent. Has a little bit of a bitter green opening by way of galbanum, also mixing with some ginger. And the overwhelming bulk makeup of this fragrance is going to be creamy sandalwood and some dry cedar. This is kind of one of those do-it-all fragrances in my opinion for the most part, so it is easily a great office choice, and I don't really like to put too much of a temperature stipulation on this one. I think you could use it at any season. Sure, there are better ones, but this can work as a summertime office scent for sure. Once again, from the house of Louis Vuitton, it's LV Lovers. Next one's coming from the house of Marc-Antoine Barras. This is Ganymede. Marc-Antoine Barras, Ganymede. This is another do-it-all fragrance, so perfect for an office use in my opinion. Definitely has a fresh element, more on the mineralic, kind of metallic side. A little bit of a saffron in this, giving a leathery feel to it. It has a woodsy base to it, kind of a dry woodsy base. There's some violet in here, some immortelle. There's also a little bit of an orange flavoring in this. You guys probably know it well at this point. Super unique scent that just kind of works for whatever you need it to work for. So why not throw it on a summertime office list? Once again, from the house of Marc-Antoine Barras, this is Ganymede. Next up, coming from the house of Orto Parisi, we have got Bergamask. Orto Parisi's Bergamask. Alright, so this one, pretty much a focus on bergamot and musk. So very bright and vibrant with a little bit of a fruity feel, but it doesn't necessarily just smell like fruit. It's kind of just tamed down to where it's not too tart, and quite a bit of musk. Musk can be a little bit funky, not necessarily in the bad way. It's just a little bit strong. It's not that kind of clean white musk you find in a lot of scents. This stuff here packs a punch. Don't need to go heavy with the sprays on this one. Maybe 1 to 2 sprays depending on your work environment. If it's a little bit more open and people are not necessarily always around you, you can go a little bit heavier with it. Definitely summertime office vibes here. This is a bright and vibrant fragrance, definitely meant for the warmer months. Obviously in the office, in the AC, that may not mean as much, but that doesn't mean you still can't theme your fragrances if you want to. Once again, from the house of Orto Parisi, this is Bergamask. Alright, last but not least, coming from the house of Xerjoff, this is Neo. Xerjoff Neo. I mean, in terms of just summertime in general, you can't go wrong with this one, and also I think this is an excellent office fragrance. Very bright and brisk bergamot, fresh spices in here. Also a good amount of neroli, giving weight to a little bit of a soapy vibe, but not too strong in here. Dry woods, smoky woods. I think there's some gaiac wood in this, so giving a little bit of a smoky vibe. There's green notes, so the fragrance leans a little bit more green. It's gentlemanly in my opinion, but it's also fresh and bright. Great for the warmer months. So a summer themed office fragrance, I think this is an excellent choice. Once again, from the house of Xerjoff, this is Neo. Alright guys, that is gonna do it for this video. That was 8 summer office king fragrances, if you will. Let me know down in the comments below, what would you add to this list? What are some of your favorite fragrances you like to wear to work? So it doesn't necessarily have to be an indoor office. What do you just like to wear to work? And if you'd like to theme it towards summertime, what might you choose? Looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Thanks again for watching all the way into the end. Really do appreciate you guys. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.